Welcome to the 10th stage of Dakar 2024. A day on the world's toughest rally starts early, especially if you happen to be an elite biker or the person filming them. Overall leader Ricky Brabeck and co were all up before 5 AM, with Adrian van Beveren set to lead them out at 5:20 sharp. Helmets on, playlist set, ready to roll. Stage 10 will take us across some of the same tracks from the start of the rally. It's stony at the start before some faster sandy sections. The navigation's going to be tough throughout, with lots of changes in direction after refuelling. Concentration will be key across 371 kilometres of timed special. The wind was up again as the riders gathered at the start line, having already covered 178 kilometres on the liaison. Every morning the bikers are given 15 minutes to work on their road books, highlighting certain key notes or passages. Some will have been pointed out to them by the rally organisers at the previous night's briefing. They then have 5 minutes to focus and get their game faces on before heading into the special. This is a first Dakar for Julien Dalbec, who said he didn't expect it to be so hard so early. The Frenchman is a motocross instructor back home, but he's pretty new to rally raid. After a few tough days, he was happy today, especially with his navigation. He's the top ranked rider for his team, Nomad Racing, in 38th overall. Jeremy Miroir is one of 3 Fantic riders in Saudi as the Italian brand looked to develop in rally raid. The Frenchman's a talented enduro rider like his teammate Jane Daniels, who gave him a tow through the last 50k of stage 8 after a serious oil leak. No such drama today, a good outing. Miroir is 33rd overall. Antonio Mayo had a problem with the fuel tank on his Yamaha yesterday. That meant a serious loss of power in the closing stages. He did have a better time of it today, but still finished as the last of the Rally GP riders over 17 minutes down. An 8-time Portuguese national all-terrain champion, he is 18th overall. Well, Romain Dumontier was on course for an excellent day in his bid to defend the Rally 2 title. After an early skirmish with Rui Gonçalves, he caught Stefan Zvitko and Bradley Cox. However, a broken swing arm cost him 3 or 4 minutes in the final 30k, so the Frenchman was an unhappy man at the finish line. He still leads Rally 2 though by 4.5 minutes. Mathieu Devers secured his best result of the rally for the Bass World KTM team, cracking the top 10 for the first time. The Frenchman played it tactically, focusing on navigation rather than speed, and when some of the guys ahead of him strayed off course, he took full advantage. Devers finished the day between Kevin Benavides and Toby Price, esteemed company indeed, and he sits 16th overall. Ross Branch was asked at the finish line if he had made up enough time today, and he responded, not even close to enough. A couple of silly mistakes costing the hero man, although he still enjoyed a spin with Price and Pablo Quintanilla. Branch is sporting number 46 this year, a throwback to his teenage years racing with KTM Germany, and it's definitely bringing him luck. He's still 2nd overall and has promised to keep fighting until the bitter end.
Well, you never stop believing, it's the finish is only when the checkered flag finishes at the end of the race, so we'll keep on fighting right till the end, and who knows, maybe we get lucky, and we'll just see how it goes.
Luciano Benavides is among the riders who is no longer in contention for the Dakar crown, and that'll be disappointing for the world champion after his sensational 2023. He says that there isn't much that he can do to influence the overall standings at this point, where he remains 7th. The Argentine was happy with his performance on this tricky stage though, coming 6th, but his wait for a top 5 finish at the Dakar may well go on. Harriet Noah's vowed not to look at the results during this Dakar, taking himself off social media, but the Indian rider's performances are making it increasingly harder for him to remain in a bubble. 5th today on the Sherco, pushing him to 12th overall and 2nd in Rally 2. Despite a bit of early arm pump, he did a great job, although he's not much looking forward to a big day in the rocks tomorrow. Daniel Sanders had a rough day yesterday with a few close shaves and said his body was still feeling the effects of it. The Australian took it a bit easier today, trying to ride as safe as possible and just focus on navigation, and it turned out to be a pretty good one. Sanders admits that he's just ticking off the days until the finish now, 4th on the stage, 8th overall. But aside from Branch, the overall fight is all about the Hondas. Van Beveren was opening again today and said it felt like smoke was coming out of his ears by the end, saying that this year's navigation has been super tough. VBA spent a decent chunk of the day with his teammate Brabeck, and they stayed clear until the finish. The Frenchman is just under 12 minutes off the pace as we head into the decisive days of this Dakar. Nacho Cornejo set off 7th today and pushed hard to catch Kevin Benavides. The two of them ended up playing a bit of cat and mouse due to various navigation errors. The Chilean ended up missing out on the stage honours by just 2 measly seconds, but he's still very much in the pipe for a podium. Nacho sits 4th overall, just a couple of minutes down on Branch and Van Beveren. I'm happy with the pace on the bike. There are 2 stages to go and we're going to give it everything. The fight for the podium's super close, only 2 minutes or so between Ross, Adrian and myself, so we're going to fight until the end. For the second day running, it was a Honda 1-2-3 as Brabeck picked up his first victory of this year's edition. The American overall leader said the team is doing a fantastic job, and he praised their kick-ass new bike, which left Price admitting that KTM will need to do a bit of homework before next year. Brabeck goes into the final 2 stages with a lead of almost 11 minutes, and the confidence is simply oozing out of him as he bids for his 2nd Dakar title.
I'm 100% right now. So tomorrow, the big stage, the Rockies, I'm gonna use some energy tomorrow and just try to secure something a little bit more. So on stage 12, it's more relaxing for me, and I can ride wheelies all the way to the finish line.
The top 4 on the day were separated by just 47 seconds, with Honda once again showing their supremacy. Branch shipped 3 minutes and 45, but he remains in the fight. The Motswana will at least be setting off behind his principal rivals tomorrow in what is slated as one of the rally's toughest stages.